With DOGE is Republican Congressman Buddy Carter of Georgia. Congressman, great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Congressman, I want to play a clip here about from Trump about the work that DOGE is doing so far.
I think we probably caught way over a lot of billions of dollars already in, 2 weeks?
Yes.
And it's going to go to numbers that you're not going to believe. And much, as I said, much is incompetence and much is dishonesty. We have to catch it. And the only way we're going to catch it is to look for it. And if a judge is going to say you're not allowed to look for it, that's pretty sad for our country. I don't understand how it could even work.
Congressman, what's your reaction to the president there, and how are you viewing the work of DOGE so far?
Well, I couldn't agree with the president more. I think he makes an excellent point. If we're going to find it, we got to look for it. It's not going to jump out by itself and come and report itself to us. And that's what he campaigned on. That's why 77 million people voted for him, because he told them, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to shake things up. I'm going to turn things upside down. I think DOGE has worked wonderful so far, and I think it's going to work even better, finding all kind of discrepancies and saving us billions of dollars. I wouldn't be surprised by the time this is over with if we don't hit the $1 trillion figure. And much of it, waste, fraud, and abuse, yes, and as the president pointed out, incompetence as well.
Congressman, Elon Musk has been mostly absent from the public eye, just seeming to be plugging away over at this DOGE. He has work cut out for him. But he did make an appearance with Trump in the Oval Office today. I want to play a soundbite.
No, the stuff we're doing with Treasury Department is so basic that you can't believe it doesn't exist already. So for example, like I mentioned, just making sure that when a payment goes out, it has to have a payment categorization code. It's like, what type of payment is this? You can't just leave the field blank. Currently, many payments, the field is left blank.
Congressman, what kind of measures and best practices would you like to see enacted at federal agencies?
Well, those that are enacted in the business world. And, every taxpayer should have access to this. This shouldn't be something that's hidden. We ought to know if you spent $1 billion, where it went, who it went to, and what went there for. Taxpayers ought to have access to that. And what we're discovering and some of the things that we're discovering are appalling. I mean, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. And I mean, that's ridiculous. $47,000 is the average salary in the state of Georgia. I mean, and we're talking about it going to something like this. This is the type of thing that DOGE was created for. This is the type of thing, again, that Donald Trump was elected to go and find.
Congressman Carter, a lawsuit does argue that allowing Musk's team access to Treasury Department systems could lead to serious cybersecurity and privacy issues, especially with individuals who lack proper background checks. Do you think that this argument holds weight, given the fact that Elon is at the helm of one of the largest companies that holds a lot of personal information of people from all around the world, that being X?
Well, first of all, he's not got access, nor does his team have access to anyone's personal information. We've been getting calls in the office, inundated with calls. Why is Elon Musk able to look at my personal information? Let me assure you, he is not able to look at your personal information. However, the point I just made about every taxpayer, every American taxpayer has the right to know where their tax dollars are going, where they're being spent. This is what he's looking for. He's not looking for anybody's personal information. That has no value to him whatsoever. What has value is, where does this money go? What was it spent for? Who did it go to? And why was it spent?
Congressman, as the chair of the House Committee on Energy and Commerce and Subcommittee on Health, you introduced new legislation to combat the fentanyl crisis in the United States and our homeland. The HALT Fentanyl Act, as it's called, passed on Friday. How does the new definition of fentanyl-related substances affect research and regulation of this deadly substance?
Well, first of all, this was a bill that was introduced by Morgan Griffith and Bob Latta on the Energy and Commerce Committee. I was a co-sponsor of it and proud to be. This is something we've got to address. I mean, look, fentanyl is the leading cause of death for 18 to 45-year-olds in this country right now. We're losing almost 200 people every day to fentanyl poisoning. And that's what it is. It's not fentanyl addiction. I made that mistake once in a town hall meeting, and I was embarrassed being a pharmacist. I should know better. Mother stood up and said, "No, sir, you're wrong. It wasn't fentanyl addiction. My son took one pill and he's dead. That's fentanyl poisoning." She was right and I was wrong. But what this does is to permanently make it a Schedule I drug. And that's what we need it to be. Now, what we need to happen now, we passed it out of the House. The Senate needs to pass it. The Senate will pass it, get it to the White House. We can get it signed into law. This will help us to fight the opioid epidemic, the fentanyl epidemic that we have in this country right now.
Talk to us, if you could, about the penalties imposed under the new HALT Fentanyl Act for trafficking or distributing fentanyl-related substances and how it might change the dynamic.
Well, they are significant and they're severe, as they should be. Anyone who is caught, whether it be the cartels or just the street dealer, anyone who is caught with this should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. There are serious consequences when you're talking about a Schedule I drug. Moving this fentanyl to a Schedule I drug permanently will carry with it serious consequences to those who abuse it and who are selling it illegally and pushing it illegally. And don't forget, we've got to address this on our internet. Much of what young people are getting right now is coming across the internet, and this is something we've got to address as well. It's a big, big problem. As I say, number one cause of death between 18 and 45. That's how bad it is.
You introduced a bill, switching gears a little bit here this week, proposing to enable President Trump to enter negotiations to buy Greenland and to rename the island Red, White, and Blue Land. How could the push to acquire Greenland, and this, President Trump, when asked, he says this is something that he's actually very serious about. How could acquiring Greenland affect U.S. relations with Denmark and Greenland? And talk to us about the realistic nature of this proposal.
Well, first of all, this is an important piece of land for us, an important barrier, if you will. We've got Russian ships and submarines and Chinese ships and submarines that are already off the coast. This gives us an opportunity to know even sooner if they are coming to our coast or not. We've also critical minerals. This would stabilize our supply chain and give us the opportunity to have critical minerals. But perhaps most of all, it would benefit Greenland. They become a member of the greatest country in the world, the freest country in the world. And they say, well, it's not for sale. Well, listen, I was in business for a long time, 32 years, and I can tell you everything's not for sale until it is for sale.
Chairman Buddy Carter, really appreciate your insights. Thank you.
Thank you.